The movie begins with a flicker of life, a candle being lit, accompanied by a quiet Jewish prayer. Its glow is warm and hopeful, but soon the flame fades. The screen shifts to black and white, marking the story's entrance into the grim reality of World War II. As the war engulfs Europe, the Nazis begin their systematic persecution of the Jews. This is where we meet Oskar Schindler, a smooth-talking, impeccably dressed German businessman who arrives in Krakow, Poland. He watches with interest as the Nazi regime tightens its grip on the city. Oskar is a man of opportunity. The war, for him, is not a tragedy, but a chance for profit. In a bustling nightclub, Schindler ingratiates himself with Nazi officers, buying drinks, flashing smiles, and slipping bribes. He knows how to charm the powerful, and it pays off. Soon, he is at the center of the war economy. As Jews are forced into the overcrowded Krakow ghetto, a scene of chaos unfolds. Families carrying belongings, crying children, and bewildered elders. Among them is Itzhak Stern, a wise and cautious Jewish accountant. Schindler sees Stern as useful, someone who can help him set up a factory to produce enamelware. Schindler's motives are clear: employ Jews because they are cheap labor. But Stern sees something else, a lifeline. Under Schindler's factory, he can issue work permits and save people from deportation to the concentration camps. He begins adding names to Schindler's list of workers, old men, children, and scholars, disguising them as essential laborers. Schindler, oblivious to Stern's quiet heroism, enjoys his rising wealth and status. He throws lavish parties and delights in his growing success, unconcerned about the workers who toil beneath him. Then enters Amon Goeth, the monstrous SS officer tasked with overseeing the Plaszow concentration camp. Goeth embodies the very worst of humanity. Goeth's cruelty extends to the youngest among the prisoners. Gunshots echo through the streets. In one unforgettable sequence, he orders the camp to be cleared. Parents desperately hide their children under beds, in latrines, and even under floorboards. A terrified boy squeezes into an outhouse pit to escape detection, but many others are not so lucky. Soldiers drag crying children from their hiding places, their small hands clawing for their parents. Families scream in anguish. Powerless to stop the unimaginable, he shoots prisoners for sport from his balcony, reveling in his power. His presence casts a terrifying shadow over Krakow. Schindler observes from a hilltop. For the first time, he sees the Holocaust for what it truly is: unrelenting brutality. His gaze falls upon a small girl in a red coat, the only splash of color in the black and white frame. She wanders through the madness, a tiny symbol of innocence. Days later, Schindler sees her lifeless body on a pile of corpses. Something shifts within him. The profiteer begins to awaken as a protector. Schindler and Goeth form an uneasy relationship. Schindler flatters Goeth, manipulating his vanity to protect his workers. Behind closed doors, however, Schindler grows disgusted by Goeth's cruelty. Goeth, in turn, admires Schindler's charm, but doesn't understand his growing compassion. Stern notices Schindler's change. The man who once sought only profit now risks his fortune to shield his workers from Goeth's wrath. He bribes officers to spare individuals, to give rations, to improve living conditions. As the war worsens, the Nazis ordered the Jews to be shipped to Auschwitz. Schindler, now fully aware of their fate, makes a desperate plan. He will move his factory to Brinlitz in Czechoslovakia and take his workers with him. Stern compiles a list of names, a list of 1,200 people who will escape certain death. Schindler paces nervously as Stern types the list. The moment is powerful. The clacking of the typewriter becomes the sound of salvation. When Stern finishes, Schindler stares at the pages. "The list is life," Stern says. The men are transported to Brinlitz safely, but the train carrying the women and children is mistakenly sent to Auschwitz. In one of the most heart-stopping moments of the film, the women are stripped and herded into a gas chamber. Panic spreads. The lights go dark, and then, miraculously, water sprays from the showers. It's a false alarm. Schindler intervenes just in time. bribing officers to release the women and bring them to his factory. In Brünnlitz, Schindler's factory becomes a haven. He orders the workers to produce defective ammunition so they don't aid the Nazis. For months, they are safe under his care. Outside, the war rages on. Finally, the war ends. Schindler gathers his workers and tells them they are free. The once imposing businessman now stands as a humble man, stripped of wealth but rich in humanity. As Schindler prepares to flee, now a fugitive for being a member of the Nazi Party, the workers present him with a letter of gratitude and a ring inscribed with the words, "Whoever saves one life saves the world entire." Schindler breaks down in tears. "I could have done more," he cries, pulling at his watch and car. "I could have saved more." The workers surround him, silently acknowledging his sacrifice. Schindler's List is a story of transformation. From selfish opportunist to selfless savior, it captures the horrors of war and the glimmers of hope within humanity. Oskar Schindler's actions remind us that one person can make a difference even in the darkest times. The next day, Soviet troops liberate the factory. The workers walk free. A closing text reveals that over 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust, but, thanks to Schindler, over 1,100 were saved. The film ends in the present day. The real Schindler Jews, alongside actors portraying them, walk to Schindler's grave in Israel. They place stones on his tomb, a Jewish tradition of respect. It's a silent, powerful tribute to the man who risked everything to save them. The final shot fades with these words, "For generations to come, the world will remember the name Oskar Schindler."